everybody. It's me, Scout McGarry. Great news. An armistice has been reached. It's September 2nd, 1945, and nothing bad will ever happen again. Too bad we had to call this the Second World War because there was one before it, but certainly there won't be a third. Hello, it's me, Scout. Welcome to the One-Shot Derby.
Hi, Scout.
Hi, Scout. How's Gloves doing?
Oh, Gloves is doing great. Going to just figure out her digestive issues. She seems to really like the sort of like very hard and knobbly carrots that have not been used for the boys abroad. But now that better carrots are available, I'm feeling great about her future.
Good. I'm really happy for her.
Is it going to be hard when the men take all the meat back? Is that going to be hard for Gloves?
Oh, surely they won't take our jobs and set back gender and racial relations by several decades. Why would that happen?
No.
And certainly, this is not an excuse to reflect on my role in the world as a broadcaster and here in the United States of America and kind of how we impact the world and the world impacts us. And certainly not to reflect on morality and perhaps visions of heaven and hell and how I should update it for this, the middle 20th century.
I also do not like Nazis, Scout. Yay!
That's not a controversial thing to say right now.
What an obvious statement. Why would you take up airtime, caller, by calling and telling me about that?
Wait, I like that we're all callers to Scout's show.
Hey, Scout, I want to talk about the jets.
The military jets, even now, flying home with our boys from abroad?
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, bad.
Aaron Rodgers, a wholesome American name. I'm not going to trouble the definition of American, because we're all American. It's all fine.
Nobody was immunized in 1945.
We didn't have the polio vaccine yet.
It was cool to have an iron lung. I wish I had one.
Me, Scout, certainly won't be fired for a man when he gets home from the war.
This is the third episode of the second annual, quote-unquote, One-Shot Derby, folks.
Definitely not annual.
Biannual, every other year.
Was it?
We had to stop it because of the war and also because we were doing the Winter Olympics on the other year. Well, we do character creation on the odd years, and we do skeleton and bobsled on the even years.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes in whole different countries, by the way. A wild thing about the modern Olympics.
Camp-annual? Like, because it's every campaign. When
Oh,
the
I
campaign
like
ends,
that.
we do this.
I like that.
Camp-annual.
It's the Camp-annuals, the second Camp-annual One-Shot Derby.
There we go.
We're doing an interesting tabletop RPG today, which kind of took us in some interesting directions. We're doing the Great Soul Train Robbery, a game of desperados robbing the train to hell by Alexi Sargent.
Whee!
Yay!
Woo! Julia, let's start with you, because this all started because you wanted to do a Weird West game.
I really wanted to do a Weird West game.
Why do you like Weird West?
I think it's fun, and it's also, like, not necessarily super different than what we were doing. I think pirates and cowboys are very similar in terms of, like, the genre and the vibe. Mm-hmm. Just one is somewhere really dry, and one is somewhere really wet.
Yeah, either you dry the wets or you wet the dries as a desperado.
Has anyone told them that if they just combined forces, they would have a perfectly neutral, balanced time?
That doesn't sound like fun.
Yeah. And so I really like Weird West in particular because, as we all know, I love a little paranormal twist on things. And I just think that cowboys are neat.
And you like weird stuff.
And I like weird stuff.
Huh. Weird.
Those are the two things.
So I was poking around for some Weird West games that we could do. Some of them are pretty crunchy. I wanted something that was not a one-pager and not like, hey, you have to learn all of Savage Worlds first before you can play this game. So I found this game, and it turns out that we know who Alexi Sargent is, Amanda and I.
Yeah, he's the husband of my friend Leah Labresco, who's my friend Yvonne's friend from way back in the day. We all come from the late aughts Catholic and atheist overlapping Venn diagram blogosphere. And now we're adults with careers, and both of us happen to love games.
Is that also Zach Labresco's?
Yes, that's Zach Labresco's brother-in-law.
And when Zach Labresco was a person in podcasting, I was like, I know your sister? It was very strange.
So I was looking, I was reading this, and I was like, wow, there's a lot of talk about allegory and religion in this. And I'm like, oh, it's coming from a guy who writes about religion. Which is where I know Alexi from. So this is interesting. I'm going to read the overview, and I want to have a larger conversation about like what tabletop RPGs could do as allegory and religion. So check this out. This is the About the Game section. On the road to hell, there is a railway line, an express train to the infernal city of Dis, crewed by furries and carrying treasure and souls to damnation.
I want to point out real quick, Furies, not furries.
Oh, I intentionally tried to not say furries, and I said furries.
Yeah.
I did the same thing when I was reading it.
The internet is crewed by furries, so it's very easy to mix them up.
For sure. You're going to rob it. See, I'm not doing it again. I'm owning my mistake.
Yeah.
You're going to rob it. You're a motley crew of desperados with mixed motives. Will you claim your prize from the train, or will you be overcome, damned, or broken by the heist? The Great Soul Train Robbery is a tabletop role-playing game inspired by the works of Hadestown, Pretty Deadly, and the Celestial Railroad that'll help you tell an allegorical Weird West story about the crew of desperados and their attempt to rob the train to hell.
I will say the first line of the overview is literally a line from Hadestown. So that makes
Is
sense.
it really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. I was really interested in this because of how it's like, you know, tabletop games are all allegories, right? Because you're using a game system to tell a story that you want to, but you want rules so that you're not just like going around the campfire and making whatever happen, right? The layers of separation of storytelling and gameplay that I see in tabletop RPGs are similar to the layers that it separate both like the story you're trying to tell or the characters in the story from their archetypes or the moral or the theme you're trying to get across in a religious way. It's like, how does it feel? It feels better to us as people to take extra steps to get to the thing that we're trying to do. And it's fun to get there when we're playing a tabletop RPG. And that's the difference between reading like a allegory or a story as opposed to getting sermonized.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I just find the tension in that really interesting.
Yeah, I love
It's
it.
what I call the Betty Crocker effect. They could just put dehydrated egg in there and you can add water, but you want to crack an egg to feel like you're baking. And I totally feel the same way, where something will strike me when I come at it a little bit from the side in the form of a tangent or a metaphor than it does if you just read some good advice.
Also, Betty Crocker is a cheap motherfucker.
I also saw this on Blue Sky that I just wanted to share, which I thought was really funny. It turns out that someone wrote an adventurer's guide to the Bible 5e at some point.
This is so funny. You posted it in the channel, and the description from the game is genuinely hilarious.
Did y'all ever have, I know you didn't, Eric, obviously, but it's not called the Teen Bible, obviously, but there were like rad Bibles that were like more easily
Catholics
readable.
don't do that, Brandon.
No, I had a children's Bible, but I didn't have
like
the
a children's
rad Bible.
Yeah. But they're all like, the covers are all like full art and like really like exciting and bold, and I don't know, that's what I'm imagining when you say adventurers.
Brandon, like most things that come from the mouths of the McElroy brothers, I thought it was a joke, but it turns out it came from their religious upbringing in West Virginia. I did not know the Extreme Teen Bible existed until I dug into it.
Well, is the Extreme Teen Bible literally one?
I think that's the McElroy
That's the one from Adventure Zone Balance that is the only reason why I know it.
I want to say, I think it's also really cool that we are reading a game that is an allegory by a person who is deeply religious. Like Alexi is a Catholic artist that means something to him. And instead of kind of talking about how the vestiges or atmosphere of Christianity, specifically Catholicism, and especially by lapsed Catholics who then become sci-fi writers, of which total respect. There is a whole community of y'all out there. I really appreciate you.
Oh no, I've said before that the person you have to be to enjoy fantasy is a lapsed Catholic. I've said that before.
But I think it's awesome that we are reading something about like a person for whom a religious allegory is a very like alive and present part of their daily life. As someone who myself went from lapsed Catholic to religious in a different way. I'm Jewish now. Yay.
Just in case you didn't know.
We got them, folks. We got them. Can I read you the section of the Adventurer's Guide to the Bible, which I find really funny?
I hoped you would.
Yeah. I shared this, but basically there's a section in the Adventurer's Guide to the Bible 5e where it's okay if Jesus A, doesn't die, or B, the party kills Jesus.
Because that's the point.
No, Jesus has to die.
No, Julia. That's the monk twisting around to write this. Again, I'm also envisioning that a monk while brewing beer wrote this at the same time.
Yeah.
Basically, okay, it's called Embracing Destiny. Jesus is going to die.
First statement, period.
First sentence. For more on how his death affects the adventure mechanically, see the True Atonement box below. The great mistake made by the Magi was their assumption that Jesus needed to be protected. In actuality, the single most important part of Jesus' mission is to die, and to die by human hands.
Jesus Christ.
In the narrative of the gospel, this happens because he's betrayed by Judas and handed over to the high priest of the blah, 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 Pontius Pilate, blah, blah, blah. Ideally, these things still play out this way at the table, ... but ... And then there's a whole thing about this is a role-playing game. Things don't go the way you want them to.
That's really funny.
Wait, I really like this line if you'll allow me.
Please.
Which is, if your players feel exceptionally driven to alter history, either by protecting Jesus at all costs or by playing a role in bringing about his death themselves, don't panic.
And Eric, this is just like going around Blue Sky as a thing that people are like, this exists.
Someone mentioned it and it just came into my feed, which I thought was so funny. It's Jesus dies, but like in the way that they did in Enter the Spider-Verse. Like Jesus will die somehow, but how he does is up to you and how play goes, which is such a funny mashup of like tabletop, again, which is why I find the game that we're about to dive into so interesting, of mashing up the dogma of Christianity with play to find out what happens.
It's also really Final Destination-y, the way they describe it.
Because they're like, I was going to say this is a real Final Destination situation. I didn't want to come across disrespectful.
No, but what it says is like, oh, you know, the player's choices might inadvertently or intentionally bring about Jesus's death. Great. In that case, they just replace the role of Judas in the narrative. If the party is obsessed with protecting Jesus from all danger, great. That will just lead to a cool story moment when they finally fail. So it's like, Jesus has to die no matter what. And then the last paragraph starts with, and don't be afraid to get creative. Jesus doesn't need to be crucified. As long as he's killed by a conscious choice made by a human being, the prophecy can be fulfilled.
He can't just slip on a banana peel.
No.
Again, theologically sound and also so funny to put in your rule book.
So funny to write out.
When you really start to lay out things about like our modern religions, this guy wrote the prophecy can be fulfilled about Jesus, not about like the aspects of Persephone that we learned about in the last episode.
No, it's direct.
Jesus. Yeah. Oh my God.
Hey, you know what's funny that I just learned? Because you've said this whole thing about being a lapsed Catholic, you know, for role-playing for a long, long time. And that never resonated with me because obviously I'm not a lapsed Catholic. But I was like, I must be in the minority. And so I was just Googling to figure out the breakdown of Christian religions. And far and away, it's Protestant is the United States. But I was like, okay, so where does the Catholic stuff come from? And I found a map. And it's literally just New York, New Jersey, and Massachusetts are like these three states with Catholics and everyone else is Protestant.
And then they all move to LA. Yeah.
Or publish TTRPGs from Austin.
It's really funny.
Someone responded to this and said, like, oh, it'd be really funny. It'd be really great if this didn't go the way that it wanted to. You flash forward to modern Christianity and you see what symbol they use.
That's really funny.
And I was like, I don't think you understand what game they're playing here. If you want them to get creative about the symbology of Christianity from the people who bought the Adventurer's Guide to the Bible 5e.
Wait, but it is pretty funny to imagine a 2x4 going into someone's chest as the symbol.
Just a stake, like just getting staked in the heart.
Just like a vampire?
Yeah.
But since it's 5th edition, though, like, then the symbol is going to be someone doing fireball.
Just it's a person covered in flames, which is a pretty cool symbol for your religion. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, if you were in the Game of Thrones.
Stand by it.
Brandon, the reason why I say the thing about you got to be a lapsed Catholic to enjoy fantasy is just like, I think it also comes from the amount of like actual play I've consumed. So when someone needs to come up with their own story, it's like, okay, there's a nice God and there's a mean God, and you talk to the nice God, and I'm like, oh, that's Jesus, right? And like the unknowability is the Holy Spirit. And also, every time someone wants to make a religion, I'm looking at you, Austin Walker, they can't stop making 3 different aspects at the same time. Even when they know they're doing it, they do it again and again.
Well, I also thought it was interesting because the amount that it portrays itself in culture, the lapseness of Catholicness, is so outsized for the amount of Catholics.
Oh, yeah,
and that
for
just
sure.
shows you how much guilt and shame Catholicism places upon young children.
And how influential Tolkien and C.S. Lewis, two specific Catholics who wrote high fantasy,
True.
have on the modern genre. And actually, Eric, looking at the Great Soul Train Robbery by Alexi made me think of things like The Great Divorce, which is a nonfiction book by C.S. Lewis, who wrote a lot of theological books about Catholicism, which is one big metaphor about how heaven, hell, and purgatory is like a bus taking you from mortality up into the sky to see what's next, which is like a beautiful metaphor. But something that is, I'm sure, known by a lot of the audience that Alexi is writing for.
That's interesting. No, I didn't even know that. That's why there's a lion running next to the train the entire time.
Yeah.
I wonder how many Catholics there were in the UK or Britain at that time. That's curious. I haven't thought about
Not
that
a
before.
ton.
Well, they invented their own church there, so that's why they don't have a lot of Catholics.
What? You could just invent your own church?
If you're the king, my man, and you want divorces,
If you're the king or L. Ron Hubbard.
If you're the king and the Pope says you can't get divorced and you really want a divorce, you say, I have a new religion now.
Oh, right. That's the other thing, that every religion has a pope. That's the other part of Catholic.
Well, Eric, they have funny hats, so that's just fun.
Catholicism is our frilliest Christian denomination outside of Eastern Orthodox. I know, Yvonne, I know.
Well, it's like, oh, you know who the enemy is? The evil pope. It's like, you're a lapsed Catholic. I know you are. Okay, so let's do the character creation here, because I want to do the Weird West stuff, and we'll all make characters. As we usually do, and one of these characters might die before they get on the train when one of us runs the game. But also, a very important part of this game is who the conductor is. And I want to make sure that the four of us come up with that together, and we can explore the suggestions that Alexi wrote, and it belies the area that he's coming from. I'll just tell you right now, he calls Cain of Cain and Abel the first desperado.
Cool.
I mean, yeah.
I wanted to make fun of it, and I'm like, no, that's you're right. For what you're doing, you have achieved it.
That's so
Absolutely.
cool.
Yeah, that stab of emotion was envy that I didn't say it first, actually.
Like, I didn't know I could just come out and say it. I didn't know I could just do that. All right, so character creation is pretty simple in this one. You choose a class of desperado, which we're going to go through. Then you're motivated by a nobler motive, but you're also motivated by a baser motive. We can roll d6s for this, but I thought we'd just be able to choose them if we were interested.
I want to roll. Well,
yeah, I
think
want to roll just
You
to...
can choose to roll or not roll. I think that's fair, but I want to roll.
Yeah. I think it's also cool because you're rolling 3 dice at the same time, and then you can select what table you want to apply that dice to, very similar to Fiasco.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun. I'm going to roll for my motives, but I want to choose my class.
Okay, I'm going to roll.
I'm gonna roll.
Real quick, I just want to show you guys.
Oh, wait.
I picked out 3 d6s randomly from my bag, and I got like a mama bear, a baby bear, and a papa
Brandon,
bear.
it says 666. Watch out.
Wait, there's actually a mechanic for that in this game, too.
Brandon, it's the mark of the beast. Your dice.
It's fine. I'm not a lapsed Catholic. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay, let me just read out all of the things on this table. So the classes of Desperado, we have Sharpshooter, Snake Handler, Renegade Fury, Fiddler, Tomboy, which I think is just like a woman pretending to be a man, which I find very funny. Homesteader Widow.
Woo!
Gambler, Sawbones, Revivalist, Cattle Rustler, Blind Drifter, and Runaway Bride.
I also want to point out the fact that each of these has a specialty in parentheses. And so, for example, the Fiddler's specialty is fast talking / fast playing. And I've rolled and I've already decided what class I want to do based on that. Mm-hmm. And I want to do Runaway Bride because the specialty is promises.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that was the one. Before we got on this call, Julia and I were chatting, and I was like, "There's a lot of Julia-coded classes in this game," and so I'm super curious to see which one you choose. And the one I most thought was like, if Julia gets this, she's gonna get it, and it was Runaway Bride. So.
Fuck yeah, Brandon, you were correct.
No, wait, I want to clarify. Tomboy is just being like a precocious 12-year-old girl.
Oh, Annie Oakley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're Annie
Yeah.
Oakley. That's cool. Yeah, how do we want to do this? Do we just want to pick, like we all pick our choices and then we go around and make our characters?
call them out.
I think, Eric, because you had one you wanted, why don't you grab it so we don't accidentally take it from you?
Oh, I wanted to be the gambler. Because each of these classes has a special item, and I thought the gamblers was the absolute coolest.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to be the gambler. My specialty is 1,000,000-to-1 odds.
Hell yeah. I just am going to go ahead, if it's okay with everybody. Just, as much as Homesteader Widow speaks to me, I did not roll a 6. I did roll a 2, so I am going to be a snake handler whose specialty is poison/serpents.
Cool.
Oh, you don't want sawbones, Amanda?
Been there and done that. But I do appreciate that Alexi includes 2 different tables, so you have 2 different choices, even if you go strictly by your roll. You'll see soon why I specifically want snake handler.
Yay.
Well, I rolled a 6, and a 3. Almost got 666. But that means I almost certainly am going to have to be the revivalist because we are here today to read the wonderful works of Alexis Sargent.
Yep.
And my specialty is sermonizing.
There you go.
Hell yeah.
That might be helpful. Brandon, I think you just chose the bard.
No,
Well, I think
the
Fiddler is the bard.
Yeah, that's
Different
fine.
kind of bard.
Fair. All right, I'm going to roll my dice so that I can figure out my motives.
Okay. I rolled mine already. Would you like me to go first again?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
My nobler motive, because my other 2 options are a 1 and a 6. I also almost rolled 666, Brandon.
Yeah.
The Mark of the Beast! Ah!
I am going to go with love as my nobler motive, which I think as the runaway bride is interesting.
Oh.
I'd love to go next because my matching 3s that I rolled means that my nobler motive is faith. I believe in my ability to control these snakes, baby. But my baser motive is a death wish. When it goes wrong, it's going to be really interesting. And I'm excited.
Oh, that means, my baser motive is sheer stubbornness.
I mean, yeah, that also makes sense for your runaway bride.
I love it.
I rolled a 3 and a 5, so these are really fun combos. It would be prophecy and a death wish.
I mean, those pair real well together.
Or it can be faith and boredom.
I like faith
Also
and boredom.
pairs really well together.
I'm going to do faith and boredom. I'm
Nice.
motivated by faith, maybe in myself, probably not religion. And but my baser motive is boredom, which I find very funny.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, mine work again very well with my class because I got 2 6s, which means that my nobler motive is redemption, obviously, and my baser motive is also sheer stubbornness.
There we go.
I think that works for a preacher.
This character is set up for true Brandon to shine.
Oh yeah, baby. I'm really speaking in tongues by the end of this game.
Love
Hell
it.
yeah, dog.
Have y'all ever been to a church where they speak in tongues? I've done once.
No.
And it's...
Oh, you have? That's crazy.
Oh yeah. I had friends whose parents were Mennonites, and it was something to behold.
Hello, it's Amanda, and welcome over here to the mid-roll, where I'm bringing you breaking news. All right, it's me, Amanda, not Scoot, because we are bringing you another episode of the Derby. That's right, a bonus episode. You are not just going to get 3 character creation episodes from various TTRPGs. You are getting 4, because in the time from when we started recording the One Shot Derby to now, Eric has written a whole TTRPG about being a true crime podcaster. It is incredibly funny. You are going to love it. Now, if you're a patron, you already previewed this game because Eric was like, oops, I accidentally a TTRPG. And then we all went through it and gave him ideas and feedback, and it was so much fun. And you are going to love how the finished game came out. So get ready for another episode of the One Shot Derby next week. Then we are going to start voting with an after party. And then Campaign 4 will start on Tuesday, March 25th, 2025. So thank you and welcome to our newest supporters on Patreon. I hope you enjoyed the party planning episode of the True Crime Podcast game. Welcome Archive78, Cassandra Martino, Mike Sulfridge, Tori Katzhouse 2, and Isaac. If you too out there are loving the Derby and want to make sure that you and all your friends can listen to the final full episode of the one shot that you choose, you got to sign up. Remember, only patrons will hear that final one shot, even though everybody will be able to vote. Join us today at patreon.com/jointhepartypod. And hey, remember, we are going to be live in Portland. Come on out. If you know someone in the Pacific Northwest, please make sure you tell them to check it out. I promise you don't need to know anything about Join the Party or Spirits, which is also performing that night, to have an excellent time. Get your tickets now at jointhepartypod.com/live. That is just over 3 weeks from now, folks, on March 23rd, 2025. There's so much happening at Multitude these days. I say that every week, and yet it never gets less true. It only gets more true. And I want to tell you about someone I got to hang out with last weekend, Sam Jones, co-host and executive producer of Tiny Matters, along with Deboki Chakravarty. This is Multitude's newest member show, and every single episode, Sam and Deboki take apart complex and contentious topics in science to rebuild your understanding on topics from deadly diseases to ancient sewers to forensic toxicology. It's truly incredible. You are going to love this podcast. So please check it out now. This is Tiny Matters. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. We are sponsored today by Green Chef, which makes it easy to eat well with recipes curated for a variety of lifestyles and dietary needs. With pre-made sauces, pre-portioned ingredients, there's less prep and less mess, and more time to savor delicious, affordable, restaurant-quality meals. They work with dietitians to develop recipe options, including fresh organic produce and quality whole foods delivered to your door each week. They really help you stay nourished even on your busiest days, which I definitely struggle with. Breakfast is constantly a challenge for me. I'm typically not hungry for breakfast until I'm already at work. So being able to pop Green Chef breakfasts like their spinach and feta egg bites or their protein-packed oatmeal into my work fridge at the start of the week means I don't even have to think about what I'm having for breakfast every day. It's genuinely so helpful. Thrive all year with clean, easy meals from Green Chef. Go to greenchef.com/jointheparty free and use code jointhepartyfree to get started with free salads for 2 months plus 50% off your first box. One more time, thrive all year with clean, easy meals from Green Chef. Go to greenchef.com/jointheparty free and use code jointhepartyfree to get started with free salads for 2 months plus 50% off your first box.
So I think what would be fun is if we go over everyone's character together, because you pick your name and then you pick your special item. For each one of these. For example, for the sharpshooter, there's a D6 table for names like Reeve Bates and Roxy Backfire McDonald. Good job. Good job, Alexi. And then you get to pick your interesting gun, like a double-barreled shotgun nicknamed the Fool, or a Winchester rifle, the same one that killed your grandpappy. So I think it'll be fun for us to go around in the order that we've been doing it and help to put together each other's characters.
Yeah. I'll go first then. Can I read the little description?
Julia, I wish you would.
I
wish you would.
So the runaway bride. You're a runaway bride. Your specialty is promises. Did you get cold feet and leave your prospective groom at the altar? Or was something waiting for you there that you just knew wasn't him? Why are you still in your dress?
I do appreciate that those are the only two options for why you would not want to get married. It's like, sorry, that's it. Those are the only two. Either you got nervous and you're gonna come back, or your husband, he's a demon. He's didn't turn into a demon.
I mean, aren't all husbands, Eric? Got him.
Got him.
The studio audience of Jerry Springer just stood up and clapped.
I, for one, have enjoyed when all husbands were off in the war. It's been great for women. It's gonna keep being good for women, right?
Scout, Are you the runaway bride?
Scout, you should have died in the war. I'm so sorry. Just so you don't have to experience the future is what I mean.
Oh, yeah, that's probably for the best. Let me think about the name, because there are some good names here, but I kind of want to do something different, as always.
Julia's gonna do something homebrewed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be curious if you have something fun for the revivalist as well.
Oh, I like the name Finchley as a last name.
Okay, I like that too.
I'm just trying to figure out what the first name should be.
I like the adverb of Finch, as if like a Finch.
Yes.
Have you considered Scout?
I was thinking about it, honestly, Scout. You appeared, and I was like, oh, Scout.
Tomboyish name, very in during the war.
I think it's going to be Josephina.
Nice.
I like that.
Josephina Finchley.
Oh, yeah. You heard about Josie, the runaway bride? She thought her husband got turned into a done demon, and then she got out of there.
The best part is once this game is over and you're dead, you can be a ghost, a runaway bride ghost.
I'm
Ideal.
Totally into that.
Classic.
Honestly. And then my accessories are, which I really like the accessories for the runaway bride. So I have number 1 is something borrowed, a fine lace veil your cousin pawned his gun to get you. Something blue, Mama's lapis lazuli bracelet, which she swore wards off the evil eye. Something old, a locket Granddad pressed into your hands on his deathbed. Something new, a pair of shiny boots that cost a pretty penny at the big city cobbler. Number 5, a bouquet of prairie thistles chosen for both beauty and prickliness. And 6, the wedding rings kept safe in a silk pouch and still unworn.
Julia, I would like to cast my lot behind number 4 because,
Interesting.
gosh darn, if this wasn't an allegory, we don't see the shiny boots get scuffed up and stained with demon blood as you change your fate.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Anyone else have thoughts?
The unworn rings are pretty unmatched in terms of symbolic weight for me.
I can't never say no to a bouquet of prairie thistles.
Interesting. My instinct was the something blue, which is the bracelet that wards off the evil eye.
Yeah,
because
that's a good one.
so chef's kiss beautiful.
They're all good.
Here's my okay. Julia, why did you not get married? I think that will help. Maybe that will help you decide.
Oh, I really like the idea of one of my favorite concepts is like the Weird West Warlock Pact, where it's like you sold your soul for something and you're getting something else in return. And I really like the idea that maybe like I made a deal and the price of that deal was the person at the altar is not who they used to be.
That's pretty good.
That's fun.
So you're running away because you're like, actually, this sucks.
Actually, I want to renege on my deal.
And whatever's at the end of this train will definitely help me do that. Bye.
Yes, I think there's like a way that I can get back what I promised.
Oh, then the bracelet definitely makes more sense because it's like I always knew I was going to bail. I was gonna do it when the I guess who would marry you in the
preacher?
Yeah, when the
Reverend?
No, you're right. It would be the Reverend. When old Reverend Patrick sneezes really hard, that's when I make my escape. And obviously, I always have my bracelet on me.
I think that's the one to go.
Like you were inside of your wedding dress, inside of your petticoats. You had like 3 days rations, a revolver, and your necklace and your bracelet.
Don't all brides have that?
I like the bracelet, but I'm also thinking now that like the wedding rings unworn would have been like when the wedding rings were exchanged, that's when my soul would have been like, taken from me. And so the fact that they are still with me unworn means I still have a chance of finding the redemption.
I like it.
That's fun.
Cool. I'm going to do the wedding rings.
I also love a AURAL oral component to a haunting, and like the very delicate clinking of the rings in a pouch is giving me little shivers.
Hell yeah.
You can say oral, right?
Well, that sounds like I'm putting on a Texas accent.
Oral.
It does.
Oral.
It doesn't count if it's oral.
Oh no. Eric, have you been watching Landman again?
I have. Season finale was fine.
The other day, Laura and I were talking about the saying, you get what you get and you don't get upset. And I was like, it's so weird because set and get don't rhyme. And she's like, what are you talking about, Brandon?
You get what you get.
You get what you get and you don't get upset.
I hopped the line, so I can go next, which is where I inserted myself.
That's fine. Go for it.
The gambler. I know when to hold them, and I know when to fold them. I know when to walk away, and I know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. No, I'm reading the lyrics to the song The Gambler. Hold on.
Yeah, I don't think that's what it says.
You're a gambler. Your specialty is 1,000,000-to-1 odds. Are you addicted to risky bets, or could you quit anytime you want? What's the most profitable gamble you've ever made? The most profitable gamble I've ever made was getting a ticket on this train.
Ooh.
I think if with the three of you, especially with the Runaway Bride, which I feel like is the way that this allegory is going, it's like, no, I want to be there. I like it. I won the ticket off of Beazazel, who came to the saloon that I make my time at.
Hell yeah, dude.
Amazing.
I love that.
Is this feeling very Agatha all along now? Which is interesting.
Oh, I didn't watch that.
Honestly, don't need to be a Marvel fan to enjoy that.
So I'm definitely addicted to risky bets. That's why I'm bored all the time. That's why I do it.
Oh yeah.
Because the Wild West and the Weird West, it sucks. It sucks. You get dysentery all the time. There's nowhere clean to poop. So what am I going to do until I die at 27? I'm going to win as much money as possible, or at least lose it and win it back, because that's even more exciting.
Well, Eric, when you point it out that way, like, it does make a lot of sense that if you have such faith in your own abilities, it's fucking boring to win over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I know, it's really trouble. It's a problem I have all the time, and I've never been able to express it until now.
Brandon, I didn't want to say anything, but I think that the 666 you had in your dice is burned into your hand now. It's smoking.
Oh, shit. Whoops. Oh, well.
Oh, well.
So yeah, I would go faith in myself because in the Weird West here, I like the idea that just like demons are vibing, and I'm better at cards than they are, even if they have. And I'd beat angels, I'd beat demons. They just need to be better on the river. That's all I'm saying.
You get on your level.
Yep.
They're all suckers to me. Ain't matter if it's angels or demons. They're all suckers to me. They're all marks. They're all marks to me.
The aces I have are really great. That's my special item.
Ooh.
There's the ace of spades, which is razor edged. The ace of hearts marked with a kiss. Ace of diamonds, gold coated. Ace of clubs, far heavier than you'd expect. I'm not going to do that. I win on my own odds. I don't have to cheat. The ace of stars, entrancingly shiny. And ace of needles always points towards your prize.
That's cool as fuck.
I'm going to do the ace of needles.
Yay!
Absolutely.
Yay!
And I think that this is similar for the Runaway Bride, where Alexi has found that there are lots of groups of 4, but you're on a D6 table. So what do? You do the group of 4, and then 5 and 6 are weird. Right?
Yeah.
Or are related but stranger. So Ace of Needles is like, a fortune teller woman gave me this card, and because I beat her at a game of Go Fish. And so now I have it, and it always tells me what to do. Love it. Don't need you, God. I'm fine.
Do you have a name for the character?
I'm going to go with number 1 here, Alexi. I know I spend too much time coming up with names. I'm going to use one that someone else wrote for me. I'm doing
fair.
number 1, Chancellor Chance Mahoney.
Chance Mahoney.
Chance Mahoney at your service. And my hat tumbles down my arm, and I grab it, and then I tumble it back. Cool.
One neighborhood of Boston has more robberies per capita than any other in the world. This is the town. Get Chance Mahoney down here. It's a great safecracker.
But yeah, Chase Mahoney, big hat. I bet my hat is a weird color too. I bet it's green. I want my hat to be. I want my hat to be green,
like a forest green,
yeah,
or a lime green.
A lime green hat.
You just said green.
I want a forest green hat. I think I keep the ace of needles in it, which points my direction. And I set up in the saloon the white rabbit and the black rabbit. It's named both.
Hell yeah!
I love it.
And folks keep walking in, and I keep taking their money. So in the biggest gamble I ever made, I wagered my life for the ticket on the train to hell, and some might say I lost, but I think I won.
I'm the revivalist. It says, you're a revivalist. Your specialty is sermonizing. Are you a true believer, or did your faith dry up along the way? How'd you discover your talent for working a crowd? Good questions.
What do you think? Are you a true believer, Brandon?
I'm definitely a true believer. I think I'm full on, like, it doesn't have to be Christian necessarily, but like, the tent preacher vibe, where, it's just so happens that I have someone who's a snake handler around. So that's good for me. If anyone's not aware, snake biting was a thing in religious tent circles.
Yeah, like Britney Spears. We know.
Did Britney Spears do that?
Britney Spears notoriously at the MTV Music Awards danced with the snake.
Oh, yes. Right.
And I'm a
boa
slave for you.
constrictor.
Yes. All right. Well, I was thinking about my name, and I was Googling some, religious names.
They list several, like, there's a father, there's a sister, there's an
Yes.
apostle, there's padre,
I love
reverend,
this.
preacher.
Yes, so I'll give you the names because they're pretty fun, but I'm going to come up with my own. So the names are Father Maurice Moody Lancaster, Sister Maria Riena, Apostle Jordan River Rutledge, Padre Juan Garcia, Reverend Blair Haggerty, and Preacher Marguerite Moss.
All right, Brandon, if you pick the title you want, I do have a really good one.
Okay,
here.
great. Well, I'm definitely going to go Reverend, and everyone must pronounce it Reverend from now on.
Reverend.
I'm Reverend.
How about the Reverend Rutledge Graves?
Ooh, that's good.
That's great.
Yeah, that's much better than mine. I was going to just do like 3 crazy Christian names in the back to back, like
Nah.
Reverend Judah Ezekiel Ishmael.
Ezekiel Graves is cool too, though.
Ooh.
I was gonna try to put the word Spears in there, but Julia came up with a good one already.
No, I like Rutledge.
Okay.
So, yeah, Reverend Rutledge Graves.
Reverend Rutledge.
Please say my full name.
The Reverend
Thank you.
Rutledge Graves.
Thank you.
Reverend Dr. Rutledge Graves.
The Honorable Reverend Rutledge Graves.
I'm only a doctor and a judge if you're nasty. Relics. So the options they gave are Grandpappy's hip flask, now full of holy water.
Cool.
A family Bible, Cousin Imogen's mad prophecies scrawled in the margins.
Yo, that's cool as
Oh,
fuck.
Cousin Imogen.
A bright feather plucked by your old teacher from the messenger who brought the new mission. A fragment of the founder's skull collected after the explosion.
Oh, just a
Yo.
relic. A real a capital R
Just an
relic.
actual Catholic relic.
Yeah.
Yep. Uncle Aaron's top hat through which he could view the world of spirits.
That's crazy. I
Shout
love
out
these.
Mormons.
God, looking through the hat is really good, though.
I mean, that's what Joseph Smith just straight up did. Aunt Lucia's pet raven, who now repeats her gnomic utterances.
Ooh.
Also very cool.
What I would like about number 4 specifically, fragment of the founder's skull, because this is also this is based on the Honey Heist system, which we've also seen with Lasers and Feelings, where you have 2 stats, Lover and Sinner, which both begin at 3, and then you roll a d6, and whether you're trying to beat it or go above it or below it, right? And it's either it happens or it doesn't or it's mixed. And I find so interesting that you're supposed to use these specialties we all have to bump up a roll you have. But even if you fail, it's if you use a fragment of the founder's head and it's divine, that would help you, right? But if you lose, then it's just some dude's brain. And I love figuring that out during play if you just have some person's piece of their skull.
Oh, I hate to disappoint you, Eric, but I'm not going to choose the skull.
Sorry, too busy making content. I don't care.
Can I do my pitch for you,
Yes,
Brandon?
please.
I think the family Bible with the mad prophecy scrolled in the margins is extremely fun because you can just during gameplay make up a mad prophecy that then comes to reality. And that feels like a very branded type of gameplay to me.
I also most liked the mad cousin scramblings as myself mad cousin.
Yeah. Well, Uncle Aaron's top hat was definitely in consideration because that's utterly insane. No
Yeah.
offense. But I am definitely going to go with a family Bible, Cousin Imogen's mad prophecies scroll in the margins. That was what obviously stuck out to me. And yeah, I think I'm excited to make up some shit, especially from... the idea of someone interpreting and prophesizing based off the Book of Revelations is utterly fucking insane to me.
Yeah.
So it sounds fun.
Amanda, you've been listening to that mixtape a lot lately.
Yeah, no, I love it.
Good kid, mad prophecies.
I was like, what is the joke here? Did I miss it completely?
Amanda's really been getting into Kendrick lately, so.
Yeah.
And she's been scrolling mad prophecies in the margins.
I've just been yelling mustard from the other room a lot.
She has been doing that.
Yeah.
And see, you saw how it didn't faze me.
Julia, do you think that occasionally Eric is like, hey, Amanda, what do you want on your burger? And from across the room, she's just, mustard!
And I'm like, oh, mustard on the beet hoe. Got it. Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
I'm also going to combine it with a thing from Hot Frosty, which was that one guy's line read of turkey. so Eric goes, Amanda, what kind of sandwich do you want? Turkey. Okay, what kind of condiment do you want on it? Mustard.
This is an incredible joke for all the overlapping fans of Hot Frosty and GNX.
I think
exist.
that's just a circle. It's 100%.
We
It's a
exist.
circle.
It's probably everyone who listens to our respective podcasts here, who are both up on the current releases from Hip Hop and Hallmark.
Listen. Okay.
Oh, Amanda, I can't wait to hear about your snake lady.
All right. So my page reads, you're a snake handler. Your specialty is poisons and serpents. Are you a religious leader or did you travel as a salesperson of dubious concoctions? How do you command the snakes?
Okay.
I feel very strongly that my origin is 100% as a peddler of bullshit medicines,
Yeah.
like a snake oil, like patent medicine, sort of like sideshow, era.
Do you directly jump off of your wagon onto the train?
Almost certainly, yes. Love that. I do, however, have a strong faith in my ability to command the snakes. And I think I do that by giving them little belly rubs and bringing them very tasty rodents and treats.
Oh.
They're well fed. They are not trying to be aggressive because they have plenty to eat. And I think I, stroke their bellies. And back in the day, would make some tinctures with a drop of poison and venom here and there. But mostly I hang out with my snakes and look scary.
I love how your choice here was actually, no, he's just my good pet, as opposed to, I command them through hypnosis.
Absolutely. Well, the thing that's most interesting to me here are the different kinds of snakes that I can have, which are my item. So I want to read through all of them because they're all very good.
Yeah.
First is the black rattler, whose sound is almost as deadly as its sting. Second, the golden-bellied cottonmouth, whose bite fills victims with insatiable greed.
Oh, that's cool as fuck.
The Acheronian diamondback, whose venom recalls a person's greatest sorrows.
Now we're just getting into the Greek mythology stuff here.
I do love the idea that this snake bites a rodent and then it's like, I miss my wife, and then dies.
My credit debt is too big.
All right, 4 is the Stygian viper, whose tooth inflames hatred and aggression. 5 is the Cocytian?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was going to say cocky tan.
That's what I thought it was, yeah.
The Cocytian constrictor, whose embrace smothers all feelings but remorse. And then 6, which is by Frontrunner, the Lethian copperhead, whose toxin cures ill memories.
That's kind of cool.
Oh, you're going real soft belly snake handler in this situation, huh?
Well, I really like the idea of almost in a Dream Eater legacy of opium
In a Gengar way?
situation. No,
Well, drowsy Brandon.
that people are addicted to the tinctures because they do alleviate bad memories. And I am a sucker for sci-fi and fantasy that takes the idea that we should never suffer, remember suffering, perceive suffering, and takes it to its natural conclusion, which is that is a part of life and you must embrace it, in my opinion.
I love that.
Amanda, can I pitch you on a name?
Yes,
Sylvia Sazerac.
that's really
Pretty good.
good. My only, I did have a last name in mind, but we're,
Okay.
as always, Julia, on the same wavelength because my name is going to be Sisyphus.
Fuck yeah.
Ooh.
Dr.
I like it.
Sisyphus.
Ooh, I love when we're a doctor.
Yeah, you got to be a doctor.
Now, was that first thought, best thought, or?
Sisyphus was the first thought, but I am taking SYL Sil from Julius Sylvia.
I love it.
Hell yeah.
So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to figure out some more stuff about the train. I had talked about who the conductor was, but there's some other things here that we can figure out. One of which is why you all want to be on the train, because the train has a prize. That's the whole reason why there is a train to hell. The train to hell is bringing something from somewhere back to hell.
And it's also got train cars. So if you want an appendix filled with train cars like me, you should buy this game.
This is a real Snowpiercer situation.
I hope not. It has a destination, Brandon. We're landing.
Well, what I want to figure out before we're done as well is why all of us are on the train.
Cool.
Right.
Because I had read ahead, I had known that, and I wanted to build that into my characters. I'm here because I'm bored. I want to see what's I want to see what's there.
Right. Got it.
But I would love to figure out why the three of you are willingly on this train. I think we touched on it a little bit with Julia's.
Yeah, I think it's I made a bad deal and I'm trying to get out of my contract. Yeah. And maybe like there's a physical copy of my contract somewhere on the train that I can destroy. Yeah.
Well, that brings up the question of the prize. Yeah, is the prize the same thing that we're all going after, or does it have to be, or can it be like a rumor of something else that we're attracted to, you know?
Actually, the prizes that are listed on the table might be good inspiration for your characters to like want to hopefully get.
The reason why I was wondering, because also I've been thinking about the Extreme Team Bible and Adventure Zone Balance, but this is very similar to the Suffering Game arc, where it's like you get the thing you want the most in the world, because this thing there will give it to you. And I didn't know if it's like, because I like the prizes that are on this list, like the biggest gold bullion score in history, or a soul, or a song so pure the devil wouldn't let humanity have it. Those are all great and things anyone would want. But also it's like if you're talking to the quote-unquote conductor, they'd make whatever you wanted happen, especially for me, because I just want whatever. Yeah. The conductor would help Julia's bride get out of her contract, but I didn't know what the revivalist and the snake handler wanted.
Yeah.
There is one based on yours, Amanda. There is one on the prizes table that I think is very good, which is a prickly pear cactus whose fruit cures any illness.
Yeah, I think Syl's snakes are getting old, and she can tell that they are eating less, they are basking in the sun and napping more. She's been on the grind for many years, and she needs something else after this runs out. So she is looking for a source of poison or antidote, whatever she happens across first. But either that, or I was thinking she could even be like gifted by the devil with the ability to like secrete her own poison would be very cool.
Ooh,
that's cool.
Wild. I thought you were going to be like, for the souls of my snakes, I am on this train.
I think she is like being idolatrous about herself. Like she believes in herself as a curer for people and someone who is like, fixing all that ails them and like giving them some peace in this like fucked up world. And so she very much wants to have her own power.
Makes sense. Yeah, and I think for me, it's going to be pretty easy and pretty simple. Like he thinks that he's going to save, in the biblical sense, in the religious sense, save the people of the train.
You're just going to fuck shit up.
Not fuck shit up. Save people, Eric. Save people from their demonous, sinful ways on this train.
Brandon, it's the Weird West. You're gonna fuck shit up, no matter what you do.
Well, you're going down to save the train of lost souls or die trying. Like that makes a ton of sense for your character.
Exactly. Yeah.
I just want to shout out one of the things on the prize list, which is 6 pairs of contraband angel wings.
I think it's very funny.
Extremely fun.
Along those lines of the 6 pairs of contraband angel wings, like I'm sure the conductor can also give me some kind of tools to help save the masses as well.
Sure. Yeah. It's like once you own the conductor, they'll do what you want because you're such a power for good that you'll be like, change your ways, and they'll go, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Right. Yeah.
All right, so I want to roll on the tables for the train runs through and the train runs on because they're sick. So I want to see what we get.
Cool.
And then because I want to, and we're going to come up with our own train conductor, maybe one that's not on the tables. So to really hit our allegory home. So I want to roll on these.
Can I read out the train runs through options for us?
Sure.
We have the high water line, the burnt over lands, the primrose path, the fallen city, the pit, and the frozen overlands.
Love a pit.
Love a pit. I also like the burnt overlands because that's just so religious scholar-y.
Well, congratulations, Julia. We got it too. The burnt overlands. Again, this is so fun. This is so Weird West, but it's like we're getting on in town or near town, and I think I get on at the train station, but I could see the you three all getting on at a weird time. But like right before it becomes immediately like lava and magma burnt overlands.
Is that what it is? It's not like, does burnt overlands mean like a city that's sort of like decrepit and burnt, or does it mean like lava and like what does that mean exactly?
Whatever you want. That's just what I thought it was.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I was picturing it as like fields that had burned rather than it being like volcanic personally, but like
that makes more sense if it's burnt fields, huh?
Yeah. It also would be wild if we all saw different things, because we're all experiencing, the afterlife differently.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I like that.
We all end up on the same train, but we board from different stations.
Yeah, so I do see civilization burnt down because obviously that
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah.
And I'm like, cool, volcano. Let me take out my giant camera. It's as big as my head. Click.
Just hold still, volcano.
Hold on. I have to stay still for 2 minutes. And then the train runs on. We have blood and billows forth deep red smoke, bones and billows forth dusty gray clouds, nightmares and billows forth screams of terror, good intentions. All right. And billows forth sweet-smelling poison, lucre, and billows forth acrid green mist, and hearts that have turned to stone, and billows forth thunder and lightning.
I think good intentions meaning like hell is paved
Yeah.
with good
Path
intentions.
to
Like
hell
it's a
is
bad
paved with
thing.
good
Oh, you didn't notice that from me saying, all right.
Oh, I thought you were acknowledging that like, oh, we went from bad to like suddenly good. I see
Oh,
what you're saying.
no. I'm like, okay, I understand what you're saying. Anyone feel strongly about one, or you want me to roll?
I really like the last one, but I don't feel strongly enough to make you not roll.
Let's see what fate decrees.
I got 3 nightmares.
Yay!
Fun.
Classic.
Sick. Okay, so let's go down to conductor. The conductor is waiting at the front of the train for a climactic confrontation. So the conductor is interesting. There's 2 D6 tables, so we got 12 dudes here, and there's a real balance of baddies from the Bible and I've read a lot of Dungeons and Dragons monster manuals, respectfully.
Doesn't it feel good to be at the intersection of someone else's interests and they write a thing that's like, I get all these references. I'm thriving here. This is great.
I was also thinking, I watched a little bit of True Blood. I got really into True Blood in the beginning of this year, and in season 2, the big bad was a cupbearer of Dionysus. Like, they weren't Dionysus. And it's similar to Brindlewood Bay, how it's like aspects of Persephone. Like, we're 2 levels down from actual gods and 1 level down from actual like demigods and deities. These are just like baddies or high level baddies that make humans' life miserable. And I thought that was really interesting in comparison to some of these conductors, because like number one of the deadly sins, pick any deadly sin and we got a humanization of them. That's fine. And the second one of the horsemen of the apocalypse, pick one of 4, bring them together. Number 3, the archfiend of hooks. I've seen that in the monster manual, absolutely.
Isn't that like just the main character from Hellraiser? Isn't that like a different name for the Hellraiser guy?
Probably, yeah.
Probably.
There's a lot of hooks in that movie.
Number 4 feels very allegorical. The souls of 3 famed criminals monstrously fused.
Cool.
Which I think is kind of cool.
That's very good.
What if it's like Jesse and James, like a famous couple, and then a third person?
Jesse, James, and Meowth.
Meowth in the middle.
It's Bonnie, Clyde, and Al Capone. Someone whose life you took wielding a gun called Recompense. That's a good one. I wonder if there's also like if only one person makes it to the end of the train. That might work.
That's really fun. I like that one.
The devil could be there, just ready to make a deal, hanging out.
Cool.
He's a real boots on the ground type boss. Gets his hands dirty.
The devil is always undercover bossing.
It's true. It's actually true.
The devil is the undercover boss.
The
That's
devil
from.
is the undercover boss.
Brandon, you said that like Jerry Jones. Like you own the Cowboys and you said that.
Yeah. You mean a sideshow pre-show?
Yeah. No, I do. Jerry Jones was a guest star on Landman, and he was pretty good.
That's
He
embarrassing.
acted well.
That's
He
embarrassing.
delivered those cue cards well, for sure. He definitely did. Okay, the beginning of the next D6 table, there's Minos, hanging judge of the dead. There's the great red dragon of Revelation. Let's mash the 2 together.
Which I'm convinced is a reference to Hannibal, but continue.
It might be.
Cool.
There's Cain, the first desperado. The false god of slaughter, his head a golden cow skull. Again,
Kinda
let's
dope,
mash
honestly.
these 2 babies up. There's the vulture king and old lady night, mother of affliction. I don't think she should be the train conductor. I feel like she's Baba Yagaing somewhere else, but I see where Alexi's going.
Well, instead of the mortar and pestle, she is flying through hell on a train. I'm into it.
I want her,
into it.
but she's like a passenger. She does vibing.
Oh, okay.
I've spent so much time with witches, Julia. I'm like, leave him alone. Baba Rutabaga is fun at parties.
It's
She
true.
already has a job.
So do any of these speak to us, or do we want to have another type of conductor of the train to hell?
A lot of them speak to me, but I think I would love to hear any pitches. But yeah, to me, it's like Cain, the first Desperado, is cool as fuck. Someone wielding a gun named Recompense is always good. Those are the ones that stick out to me, I think. But
I'm drawn to the devil ready to make a deal only because it's so classic. But I'm also like, I'm not picturing, you know, red devil horns, cloven foot devil. I'm picturing like handsome man in suit devil.
Oh, I was picturing the robot devil from Futurama. So.
Oh, of course, naturally.
I have been watching Deal or No Deal Island. And this is relevant because on Deal or No Deal Island...
You're going to put Howie Mandel up there?
Howie Mandel was in season 1, Brandon. In season 2...
It's Joe Manganiello. Who's the lady banker, Amanda?
We don't know yet as of the time of this recording. It's a mystery lady.
It's a mystery lady.
Yes. Some people think it'll be Meghan Markle. It's definitely not Meghan Markle. She was a briefcase model on Deal or No Deal. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Was she really?
Yes, she was. It doesn't matter.
Oh, that's funny.
I am bringing this up because I'm obsessed with the idea of a himbo intermediary who has a cell phone or radio connection to the devil and will present the deal that you're bringing. So I would like to put my kind of chip on like the devil's intermediary, a very middle management representative of the devil who is perhaps the quartermaster or the lawyer or the the minion here to take our deal or not.
That's fun.
I'm into it.
Can I pitch one of the 7 deadly sins? Lust. It's just an orgy, an eyes wide shut situation.
You walk inside of the engine room. There's a really hot boiler in the corner, and they need to avoid it.
It's a recipe for burns in bad places.
Julia, help me out with this.
What up?
Is there an ancient group of people that the people in the Wild West would be obsessed with? Like, have we already passed the classics obsession with like Greeks and Romans and stuff, or was it somebody else?
No, we're still right into the thick of that, probably.
But I like that idea.
Because, like, at this point, it's the Victorian era still,
right?
Basically.
Okay. So
and we loved the classics.
I think it should be, I don't know who it is yet, but come with me with this full sentence. Plato, comma, the devil's secretary. Or it could be like Hannibal, the devil's secretary. Like someone from the classic period.
It's Virgil.
Oh, of course.
It's Virgil because Virgil's the guide in Dante's Inferno.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
The guy who writes fan fiction about, or the guy who is in fan fiction about the devil is definitely the devil's secretary.
Is it just Dante? Is Dante the devil's secretary?
No, because he ends up getting to heaven.
Too Italian.
Well, who's
Too Italian.
Too Italian.
Hey.
For the Weird West.
Or like, or who would they believe is in, like, this person also needs to be in hell. Is it like Alexander the Great, comma, the devil's secretary?
Yeah, it's Virgil.
One of Hannibal's elephants. We've nailed it. It's an elephant wearing a train conductor cap.
or like Genghis Khan or something?
Yeah.
Like that? Is that what you're going for?
If I was the type of DM who could do this, I would be like, Genghis Khan is the devil's secretary and then now has like a super posh British accent.
I think it'd have to be like Brutus then. You know what I mean?
I was thinking I was thinking about an emperor could work too.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do Brutus.
I like Brutus. Because also, like, because we're doing this in 2025, and I think the easy thing would be like, Elon Musk is there as the conductor of the train. But I like we're gesturing towards that by using a Caesar.
Can I pitch you instead, guys? Cain, the first Desperado.
Cain is great.
I don't hate Cain, the first Desperado.
I'm
I
all
really
in
do
for that.
like it.
So good. It's so cool.
Yeah. Because he's been around for a while.
Here's my question. Does the fact that we are desperados and Cain is the first desperado, does that mean that it's like in the way that they do in Heat, we're not so different, you and I?
No, I think Cain like tried a robbery, failed, and this is his punishment forever.
Right.
Oh, that's
I also
fun.
think that there's something really interesting about that because it seems like we're on this train to hell and it's still so like fucking low level.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
for sure.
like think of like all the robberies that actual desperados and actual like cowboys and bandits would do during the Wild West period. They were small potatoes, you know. They're not robbing the Federal Reserve. They're robbing like the town bars, you know, single safe.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that it's Cain because, like, in the grand Catholic scheme of things, it's so small potatoes.
It's like, if Cain didn't even make it in and is here, what the fuck's beyond that?
Yeah.
I even like Cain's. I know we can't do this technically, but I even just like the idea of Cain separated from religion. Of just like the man who first did a murder is like, that's cool as fuck.
That is.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's probably Cain, the first Desperado, huh?
Yay!
All right, good.
Wearing a gray hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not white. It's not black.
A tiny splatter of blood on the hat.
Yeah, you know it.
The body of his brother, like, attached to his leg or something as punishment.
Just smells like burnt meat.
Or like a
Yeah.
or like a finger on a necklace. Honestly.
Yeah.
It's good.
Ah. Okay, I like it. Let's get on this hell train, folks.
Okay.
All right.
Choo choo.
All aboard. Tickets, please. Tickets, please. Amanda, where's your ticket?
You have to pay in cash right now, and everyone's looking at you on the train.
And it's $10 more because you're buying on the train.
No, it's my real nightmare. No.
Okay, so this is our third game choice for the one-shot derby. But wait, a new challenger emerges.
What?
We're doing 4 games. We're doing 4 games. I'll just admit it. I ended up writing a game. So I'm submitting my own stock car
Eric, we
into the one-shot derby.
demanded the chance to play it because it's so fun. That's what happened.
Mhm. I said, I want 4 games now, please, sir.
If you're a patron and an avid listener of Party Plan, you already know the score here, you know?
Uh-huh.
So here's how we're going to do this. Next week, we're going to do the mysterious 4th game that I wrote. Once that episode comes out, in the link in that episode's episode description, there will be a place for people to vote. You can vote on which game you want us to do a full one-shot of. That will continue when we do an after party discussing all 4 of the games that we did, and also you can submit questions and everything. The voting will be open a few days after that second episode. The after party episode is out as well. So everyone can get all caught up, and you can all vote on which game we want to do. And it's important that you vote for all of them because we do ranked choice voting.
Exactly.
Yes.
You can choose your first, second, third, and fourth favorite game. So listen to them all, think about it, and you'll have at least 10 days to vote.
Okay. Until then, you can't vote yet. You can't vote yet because we have an episode
No,
next
we have to
week.
play the 4th game for you.
But Eric, I'm getting so many texts that say Ruben stuttered.
Brandon, stop voting Ruben Stuttered as your favorite game.
Who have I been texting Clay Aiken every day to since 2004?
The game next week is Fantasia Barrino.
Oh, we got a new joke entrance coming in.
There it is. Well, I hope Scoop McGarry is gonna be able to cope with post-war life in the next episode.
We'll see what happens. Gotta check it out, folks, and stay tuned for the one-shot derby with me, Scout McGarry. It's 1945, and things are only getting better from here.
God, I hope.